Hi folks, we're going to take a look at number 14 from the parallel and perpendicular lines homework sheet. This is from a couple of weeks ago, I think. Okay, so let's look at the question here. It says Mr. Wright wants his roof to be 90 degrees at its peak and have a slope of -7/2 on the sunny side of the house. So we see that here, that must be the sunny side of the house. So that slope there needs to be -7/2. Makes sense because it's going downwards. As opposed to this one here, which is going upwards. So it says if the height of his roof must be 210 centimeters, how wide is his house? Okay, so it's a bit of a tougher question, but let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to need to know the width of the house here. So at some point I'm probably going to have to work with both parts of the roof. But what we know is that this is a 90-degree angle, meaning these lines have to be perpendicular. Okay, so this is really sounding like an analytic geometry problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this problem here and I'm going to put it on a Cartesian plane. Okay, and hopefully that'll help me come up with a solution. Okay, so here what I'll do is I'll place the bottom portion of the roof along the x-axis. So I don't really care about the house part, I really just care about the roof. Okay, and I know that the height of the roof is 210 meters. So this point here on the y-axis, which of course is always nice to have since it's our y-intercept. Okay, so I'm going to have one line there, and I'm going to have another line there. And we know that this angle is 90 degrees, meaning these two lines are perpendicular to each other. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to find this whole length here. But I realize that what's going to help me to find this length is by using the x-intercepts of each of these lines for both sides of the roof when they hit the x-axis. Okay, so if I can figure out these two x-intercepts, I can then easily calculate the length, or sorry, the width of the house. Okay, so what I'm going to need is I'm going to need equations for these two lines. But I know the slope for this line, they give it to me, is -7/2. But I also know the slope of this line because it's perpendicular to the first one. The slope is just going to be the negative reciprocal. So if this is -7/2, this one's going to be +2/7. And to make things even nicer is I have the y-intercept for both of these lines, since the y-intercept for both lines is 210. So I can write the equation of both these lines very easily. So let's start with this equation. I'll call this 1 and I'll call this 2. Okay, so for line 1, my equation is just going to be mx, so -7/2x, plus b is the y-intercept, 210. Okay, so let me start now by finding the x-intercept of this line here. And of course, what's special about an x-intercept? The y value is 0. So I'm just going to replace y by 0. Okay, so here, might as well keep everything positive. So I'll bring the -7/2x to the other side to make it +7/2x. Okay, and now let's isolate the x. So I have to do 210 divided by 7/2. But of course, dividing a fraction is the same as multiplying its reciprocal. Okay, so this is like 210/1 times 2/7. So first I'm going to simplify before multiplying, and I see that 210/7 is the same as 30/1. So I'm left with x here being 30 times 2 is 60/1. Okay, so this x-intercept here is 60. Okay, so now I'm going to do the exact same thing with the second line. So here y is equal to, its slope is 2/7 times x plus y-intercept is still 210. Okay, so now I'm going to make y 0 here so I can find that x-intercept. So 2/7x plus 210 equals 0. So I'll bring the 210 to the other side, it'll be -210 equals 2/7x. And x is equal to, well, -210, whoops, -210, sorry about that. Okay, divided by 2/7, but since I already saw that here, I know that dividing by 2 over 7 is the same as multiplying by 7 over 2. Okay, so x is equal to, well, a positive times a negative gives me a negative number. 210 and 2 can reduce to 105 over 1. So 105 times 7 is 735. Okay, so this x-intercept is negative 735. Okay, and if I want to find the width of the house, well, what do we have? This portion here has a distance of 735 units, and that portion there has a distance of 60 units. So in total, it would be 735. Oh, sorry, 795, since plus 60. And here, it looks like the units are given in centimeters. Okay. So, a bit of a tougher problem, this one here, but let's just do a quick recap. Okay, since we realized that we were going to be working with slopes and lines, it made sense to transfer this problem onto the Cartesian plane, so I could then use analytic geometry to solve the problem. In particular, with the equations of the lines, okay, and knowing negative reciprocal slopes, we were able to find these two x-intercepts. Okay, that's it for this one.